Hi, I'm Dave Epstein, and welcome to this edition of Growing Wisdom. Today, let's talk about starting seeds inside. So I have my seeds already started here for spring, and we've got a number of seeds going on. We've got spinach, some Bibb lettuce, some onions. I've got some arugula, some mache, and even some kale. Now we've done a few things differently that we want to share with you. One of them is I've started some seeds in these half eggshells. This is a little bit of Napa cabbage here, and you can see the seeds have begun to sprout inside the eggshell. I've actually poked a tiny hole at the bottom to allow some drainage. This plant will not really be allowed to get very big because it's such a small amount of soil. And what I'll do is once it gets a first or second set of true leaves, this will go into the cold frame or right into the garden depending on the time of year. And I'll break that bottom a little bit more to allow it to root in. But the nutrients from the eggshell will break down and provide the plant some much needed nutrients during the course of the growing season. This is a great thing to do with kids as well. You can save the eggshells and eventually put some soil. Make sure you use a seed starting medium. Don't just put regular potting soil in here. It's just too wet. Speaking of wet, one of the things that folks often do is water their seeds too much, and that will cause something called damping off, which is when the base of the plant where it meets the soil will actually basically rot and fall over, and then the plants will die. So you want to allow the plants just enough water in order to germinate, and then really cut back on water and let them dry out between waterings. This will help promote a lot of great root growth and also prevent disease. When you start your seeds, often a seed starting kit will come with a little plastic cover like this. It goes right over. As soon as the seeds germinate, you want to remove the plastic cover. The reason for that is we don't want too much moisture on the leaves. Again, we're trying to avoid any disease. Other things you can start your seeds in, you could use little peat pots like this. These particular pots you can fill with soil and start your seeds there. Just be sure you have a nice tray underneath, and then you just plant these in the ground. So we have some seeds here. This is a little bit of pak choi, and a lot of the choys you want to be careful if you start them inside when you transplant them. They don't like to have their roots moved. I've also got some peas here, and I'm demonstrating the peas because peas are not a vegetable that you want to start inside. So peas, as well as other legumes like beans, really start those outside. They don't like to be transplanted, so wait until the ground's warm for the beans or the ground is workable for the peas and just plant them directly into soil. You also have things like spinach. Depending on the variety of spinach, some spinaches you can start inside, others prefer to be started outside. And always check the back of your seed packets for exactly when to start the seeds inside. It usually gives you an indication, perhaps 4, 5, 6 weeks before your last date of frost in the spring. A couple of other things that are helpful when starting seeds. We want to have a nice grow light. So we have a nice grow light here. We'll turn that on for you. And you can see that that really will add quite a bit of light to the seeds. I leave my grow light on about 15 hours during the course of the day, and it's on a timer and it goes off at night. We also have a seed starting mat. So this is a mat here. It's underneath the seeds, and what this does is it allows the temperature of the soil to be warmed up just a bit. So depending on the variety of seeds you're trying to start, some varieties of seeds like it a little bit warmer than others, especially things like tomatoes and peppers, and it helps the seeds to germinate. It also helps the soil to stay warm. Again, we're trying to mitigate any disease that could start forming, especially when plants are young. They're quite susceptible to disease. Be sure to let your plants dry out between waterings and go very easy on the water. Wet soil is not healthy soil for those young tender plants. Now as the seeds grow, you may want to what's called pot them up. In other words, put them into a larger container depending on how big you want them before you put them outside. When you move them into a larger container like a larger peat pot or a larger cell, use a little metal tool like a small spoon or even a knife to get them out. So the 3 most important things, just to recap with starting seeds. Number 1, you want to have good seed starting medium, a good soil mix. Number 2, you do not want to overwater. You want to keep things on the drier side, especially after they germinate. And number 3, you need a good light source so the plants grow nice and strong and aren't leggy. By following those steps, you'll have some great seeds to start, which is going to get you some wonderful vegetables later in the season. For Growing Wisdom, I'm Dave Epstein.